2023. 2023 has certainly been a year. It's been a year of ups and downs, and if I'm gonna be honest, I really only remember the last 6 months of 2023. Um, Now, this isn't gonna be a typical podcast, because the podcasts are still on hold. I spoke about that in my last podcast. Um, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's actually a pretty good podcast. Ironically, I wanted to start making videos about videos at the end of each year, talking about the year, the ups and downs, the sideways, left, right shit. I'm going to talk about the good and the bad of 2023. Now, I will say there will probably be a lot that I talk about that didn't actually come out in 2023. But I will also say, ever since COVID, my brain has been really foggy about when things happen. Like, I still can't believe it's the end of 2023. But so much has happened in the past few years, let alone this year, that my brain's kind of just melded everything since COVID all together. And now it's 2024, and I'm sitting here like, whoa, where did all that time go? The biggest thing that happened to me in 2023, well, maybe the second biggest thing. A great thing about 2023, I graduated college with a double degree in sociology and forensic anthropology, and also a minor in psychology, and I also got accepted into a graduate program at Stevenson University for crime scene investigation, and I start that January 22nd, which is like 2 weeks from when this video posts, which is insane and scary, but I'm also super excited to start it. It seems really interesting, and I just can't wait. The biggest thing that happened to me was this little guy. I know you don't want to be held right now, but this little guy is... I have showed him in previous podcasts, and previous videos, but he is a... Oh, okay. He is a Pomeranian Shih Tzu Chihuahua mix, and right now he's almost a year old. He may even be a year old by the time I'm sorry. He might even be a year old by the time this video comes out. But look at that face. Look at that little face. Look at the face. Mwah. So he's definitely the biggest thing that happened to me this year. Honestly, I can't remember much of anything else that really happened this year, which is bad. Obviously I started the YouTube channel. I did start it with Aspen, one of my best friends, and I'm still deciding whether or not to continue the podcast with him and continue the channel with him. But since we can never get our schedules together to make podcast videos, it just seems to be easier to make it my own channel and stop the podcast for right now. But I guess you can consider this a podcast if you want, but really it's just a wrap up to 2023. I ended up reading so many books this year. I ended up having like 10 books in my waiting list, and I still have like 5 books that I need to read. But I'm currently reading this one, Chain of Thorns. It's beautiful cover. This series has some of the most beautiful illustrations that I've ever seen. Which, by the way, you can tell that my dog got to it, but I can still open it and still open it and read it, so it's not that big of a deal. If you're not familiar with the world of Shadowhunters, it's Shadowhunters are all these beings that are like half angel, half human. They have angel blood in them, which gives them heightened like fighting abilities. Sorry. It gives them heightened abilities like speed. Um, they have the sight where they can see demons, vampires, fairies, and all that stuff. Um, so it's kind of mythical fiction, but they're really good books. And the author is Cassandra Clare. I would definitely recommend this series to anyone. And the interesting thing about it is each series has like only 3 books to it, except one of the series, the Mortal Instruments, has like 6 books to it. But all these different series can be linked somehow, so they could be one giant like chronicle of the Shadowhunter universe. Another thing that happened this year is, well, for one, Chain of Thorns came out this year, and I'm finally reading it. I'm about halfway through it. But she also announced, she released another book called Sword Catcher. I haven't gotten into that one yet. I don't know. I haven't bought it yet, and I don't know if I ever will read it. But she's also announced the three titles to the Wicked Powers series, which the Wicked Powers series is like a concluding series to the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So those won't, she even has said those won't come out till, the first one won't come out until like late 2024 at the most. So I'm not expecting those books anytime soon, but I'm excited for them. I'm really excited for them. She also, I remember she did this thing early in the year. It was called Secrets of Blackthorn Hall. And if you're not familiar with Blackthorn Hall, the Blackthorn family is a family that's very prominent in these books. But she did like a podcast thing where she would like talk about like Secrets of Blackthorn Hall and stuff like that. Don't mind my dog in the background. She has said that, well, she's made pointers to that those might become a book soon, and if it does, then I'll be reading it. But I would definitely recommend that whole Chronicles because it's so good. I'm reading through them right now, and once I get all the Wicked Powers books and read through them, I'll go back and start from the beginning and read all of them in chronological order. Because I like doing that with books. Another book that I got that I'm waiting to read is, it's called Murder Your Employer, McAllister's Guide to Homicide. It's volume 1, so there's either going to be or there already is more volumes to it. But it's essentially like, what I know about this is that this person it follows a person who goes to a school for homicide. So I thought it was really interesting. And also, just look at that artistry. I love the cover. It's so pretty, especially with the roses, and the gold. It's just all of it. Gold and red are like, they go so well together that it kind of draws me in. So it's just whatever. Another book that I bought the McAllister's one. I bought it early in the year. I think I bought it right after I graduated, so like in May of 2023. But this next book I got for Christmas from my mother, and it's Grimm's The Complete Fairy Tales. But this is Grimm's the original fairy tales that, before they got dumbed down for children, written in 1884. So these are the original Grimm stories, and I'm so excited to read this one. So excited. Also, I want to address the elephant in the room. If there's any skips in this, um, I'm sorry. Uh, for some reason, the Logitech software that I'm using to record is just, for some reason it worked really well, but now there's slight performance issues with it. So I haven't figured out how to fix it yet, or haven't found another platform that I would rather record on. So we'll figure it out. So those are some of the books that I got in 2023 that I'm super excited to read. I'm also reading some books. The book's all about Yang Chen, which, if you don't know, Yang Chen is an avatar from the, Avatar the Last Airbender universe. And Yang Chen is the Airbender avatar before Aang. And this wonderful author, I think her name is Y.C. Lee. I probably said that wrong. Sorry. But she's been writing books about previous avatars. So last year or the year before, she wrote books about Avatar Kyoshi. Actually, those may have even come out before the pandemic. But then she recently wrote books about Yang Chen, the Airbender, before Aang. And those are great books, and I would love to see like TV show adaptations of those, like we got with Avatar The Last Airbender. Speaking of that, Netflix finally came out with their the first trailer of their live action Avatar The Last Airbender, and it is so good. So the show looks like it's gonna be phenomenal, and I cannot wait. I think it comes out early 2024, which I can't wait for it. I'm gonna be watching it the first day that it comes out. Another thing that happened a lot this year, there was a lot of music that came out this year that I've really loved. Since I mostly talk about Taylor Swift, I'm going to talk about other music and other artists before I talk about Taylor Swift. Meghan Trainor's been kind of big this year. She came out with her album Taking It Back. I don't know when it came out, but it came out this year. Phenomenal songs on it. It's just amazing. And then she also just recently came out with a song with Jimmy Fallon. It's a pretty good song. Kelly Clarkson has been busy this year too. As a matter of fact, she's done a lot with like TV shows and like late night shows this year. I think she went through a big breakup this year of her marriage. I'm not sure about that, but it might have happened. But it was the product of Kelly Clarkson's Chemistry album, and when I tell you this album is one of the best albums that I've ever listened to, believe me, it's so good. And even though I've never had a breakup like that, the songs were still beautiful and amazing, and her voice has grown so much since she has started singing that her voice is almost angelic now. Another thing about Chemistry, I would recommend almost all the songs on it, but there's a specific song called Lighthouse that, I kid you not, I went into a cycle where that's all I would listen to for like 2 weeks. It's such a good song. It's crazy. It's phenomenal. It's crazy. It's whatever. It's amazing. But they're all good. I'd recommend, like I said, I'd recommend Chemistry. I'd recommend Taking It Back. Chemistry is Kelly Clarkson. Taking It Back is Meghan Trainor. A lot has happened with Taylor Swift this year. The biggest thing that happened with her is the start of her 2-year-long Eras tour. This Eras tour it's absolutely insane. It's huge. It's over 3 hours. Whole segment alone is over 3 hours long, of her constantly singing, costume changing, making her speeches without any breaks. She goes through every era except debut, which I'm a little mad about. It's a huge production, and she's pretty much making it last 2 years. She started in March of 2023, and it's ending around November or December of 2024. So almost 2 years long, I should add. But it's already made enough. It's already made so much revenue, and it's already so big that I don't know if it already has, but it's almost beat out Elton John's 5-year farewell tour, as being the biggest concert held in world history, which is insane. Her popularity has absolutely skyrocketed this year. I think it started last year. Well, really, I think that it really started when she started her re-records. Because the pandemic happened and she wrote Folklore to Evermore, which a lot of people didn't take to at first. I didn't take to them at first. But then she started re-recording her albums, and I think that's when her popularity started going up. But it seems to have absolutely skyrocketed with the tour this year. This year she also came out with Speak Now TV and 1989 TV. I'm in love with both, but 1989 TV, chef's kiss. Perfect. Another thing, I guess, I forgot to mention it earlier, but in early 2024, my partner Charlie and I moved out of a 1-bedroom in Asheboro to a 2-bedroom in High Point. This 2-bedroom is so much better, because now we actually have room for shit. I wouldn't be able to do this podcast, well, this channel. I wouldn't be able to do this channel without this second bedroom to have this setup. So that's really nice. Like, starting this channel was the up for it, but also then the downside to it was this whole Aspen and I are kind of breaking up, per se. And if I do make the decision to completely be like, okay, you don't want to invest time into this channel, so I'm just going to take it as my own and invest my own time into the channel when I want to. I still just, until I make that decision, I guess that's the downside to it. And this channel in the first few months has already had its ups and downs, because at some point, so Aspen and I first started the channel because we wanted to make a podcast where we could just talk about stuff. And then all of a sudden, Aspen, if you're seeing this, please correct me in the comments if this is wrong information. And so that anyone who's watching this, do look down in the comments if he comments on this podcast if I got any of this information wrong. I don't want to. But this is what I feel happened. So if I get anything wrong, any of the information wrong, I'm sorry. Aspen, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But this is how this was perceived. So we started the channel in November, I think. Either late October. No, we started it in October. Sorry. which it was a rough start, I will say. Go back and watch those first few videos of the not only the podcast, but also the games. It's a rough start. um, but even with the rough start, we started, and I started it as I just really wanted to do podcasts where we talk about whatever we want to talk about. And I think, Aspen wanted to start a podcast too. But then after we started the podcast, I really felt like Aspen was starting to only be in it for like the money and stuff. Um, which, yes, once you get to that point, you can make some real good money off of YouTube. But I was only in it for, making content and making a sort of escape for people to, escape the real world, because we all know the real world is shit. But I started getting to the point where once I started gaining a little bit of subscribers, I was like, maybe I should be in this for the money. And for a minute, I was in it for the money. But I've gotten to the point now, I've realized that if you're only in YouTube, if you're only making content for the money, then you shouldn't be on YouTube. You should be on YouTube because you want to make content for your subscribers, for anyone who's passing through YouTube to watch your content. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. If they want to subscribe, they subscribe. If they don't want to subscribe, that's fine. Sorry, my dog. But like, YouTube, you shouldn't be in YouTube for just the money. Yes, the money is a nice add-on when you get to that point, but like, you should be in YouTube to also make content that people want to watch. And that's what I've come to like finally be like, okay, I truly want to make YouTube content because one, it's an outlet for me to do something and to make content that I want to make, and it also gives me an excuse to buy games that I may not have bought before and play and find out that I love those games. And but also to make content for you guys, which I will say, as I'm recording this, I have 16 subscribers on the channel, which is not a lot, but it's a start. And for all the people watching this, whether you're subscribed or not, thank you for watching it, and thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, and I do love you guys who watch it. I even have some people who have subscribed to my channel and watch my videos giving me tips for what I need to do to videos, which is nice because for some dang reason I'd say like 80% of the time I cannot mix my audio and the game audio, my audio and the game audio together correctly. I don't know why. It's like in one of the games that just posted like right after Christmas, I think. It's called September 7th, and you should definitely go watch that video because it's a phenomenal game, and I would recommend playing the game yourself if you're into horror games. It was such a fun game to play, and some of the scales got me really good, but it was so fun. But for the life of me, I could not mix the audios correctly, so you can barely hear me, but you can hear the game audio crystal clear, and at some points it's even really loud. So yes, there was issues with that, and there was issues with this thing as I'm recording too. But that's part of YouTube, is growing and learning and trying to figure out how to um, make videos properly, how to edit properly, how to uh, you know advertise your channel properly. So it's a learning experience, YouTube, but you have to be in it to truly make content and just be happy with the content you put out. You can't be in it to just make money, because it's not going to work if you do it that way. But ever since starting this YouTube channel, I have been happier as a person, because it, like I said, it does give me an outlet to do something. Especially since these last few months have been particularly hard, because I recently quit a job, because I quit a job in October, well, end of September, October, because the hours were just too early. Sometimes I was getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning to go get in a van and leave by 2 o'clock in the morning to go all the way to Virginia, in locations that were 3 hours away, just to do inventory stuff, and then come back later in the day. Which I will say, the upside to that job was that most of the time I would get home before 4 o'clock. Hell, most of the time I get home before 3 o'clock. So that was a plus to it, but the downside to it was also, getting up at 2 o'clock, getting up at 4, anywhere between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. I couldn't do that anymore, so I had to resign from the job. But I made the mistake of resigning from that job before I had another job secured. So now I've been out of a job since the beginning of October. So I've had to ask my family for money, which I absolutely hate asking people for money. And I've had to ask my partner to help me out with stuff, and I feel really bad about that too, because he's the sole income person for the apartment right now, and he makes barely enough to pay for everything. We barely have enough for groceries. But so that's definitely been a downside to 2023 at the end of the year, and it looks like I will be going into the new year still without a job. But who knows? All in all, I think 2023 was a pretty good year. I would say it was a great year for music and like entertainment wise. It was a great year for movies, TV shows, books, music. Marvel, contrary to a lot of people's beliefs, I think Marvel has put up some great stuff in the last few years. Everyone's just been hating on Marvel right now, and I don't know why. Because I understand that everything they've made so far is not up to the standard of Avengers: Infinity War or Endgame, but at the same time, those were absolutely huge movies to end out that phase of Marvel, the Infinity Saga. And the new stuff to introduce like, phase 4, phase 5, phase 6 aren't going to be that big. They're going to be introductory stuff to introduce plot lines and new characters if need be, to get to those movies, like Avengers Kang Dynasty, which isn't Kang Dynasty anymore. I forgot what they renamed it to, but Avengers Kang Dynasty is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I just know it is. Especially, and Avengers Secret Wars, I think. I think it was Secret Wars. But I don't know what the other one was called. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but that one's going to be phenomenal too. It's just not everything is a multi-million-dollar thing anymore. And yes, I know Marvel has the money to do it, but it would be counterproductive to make everything they're putting out right now to the same tier as Infinity War and Endgame. Now, yes, I do agree with a lot of people being like Marvel is putting out too much stuff at one time. I do agree with that a little bit, but some of it has been really good. I really liked WandaVision. I really liked, which I know I'm getting into not coming out in 2023 territory, but whatever. WandaVision was really good. Loki was phenomenal, especially the end to it. If you haven't seen Loki season 2 yet, for one, what are you doing? And for two, it's unbelievable. It's phenomenal end to it, and it kind of gets. It's a great. I don't want to say it's an end to the character because I don't think Loki as a character has ended yet. I think we'll see him again, but like this final like justice for Loki, as you know, Loki always being like the underdog character who just wants to be loved and just wants the recognition that he deserves. As being that kind of character, he finally gets his now you're the holder, now you're the possessor of all time, and you're the he basically took Kang's place, but instead of, you know, keeping one timeline, he keeps all the timelines. Anyway, that was phenomenal series. I liked season 2 better than season 1, which season 2 did come out this year. Season 1, I think, came out last year, in 2022, but I'm not sure. I haven't watched any of the other like short series. Well, I did watch She-Hulk, although I couldn't get into it. I didn't watch like Miss Marvel and stuff like that. I haven't even watched the movies that have come out. I haven't watched. Well, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was a phenomenal movie, although I think that it could have been more than what it was because it felt kind of short and a little rushed. It was a phenomenal movie regardless. But like I haven't seen the movie that recently came out, The Marvels, although apparently everyone's hating on it, and stuff like that. And I even saw an article that came out that female lead Marvel movies never walk out, which is insane to me because I loved Black Widow. Now, I will say Black Widow was not what I was expecting. It's on the lower tier of Marvel movies for me because I thought, and Aspen and I talked about this in a previous podcast. I can't remember what episode we did talk about it on, but go watch that one. Go find it. But the movie itself was, the movie as standalone was good. And I would, out of like a to D, out of like the, you know, the S, A, B, C, D ranking or whatever that is, I'd probably put it at a C. Because I also thought that it would be more of a origin story. So I thought we were really going to get to see the Red Room and how she was trained to become a Black Widow. I do like that we got to see a little bit of the Red Room. And that we got to see other Black Widows and stuff. But it was kind of just weird. It didn't fit the plot line. For me, they kind of just made it and it was like, oh, here you go. And it seemed like the only really crucial part of that story was the end credit scene where um, Elenia, I butchered that, but whatever, where she goes and sees Black Widow's grave, and she's told that Hawkeye killed her, and that sets it up for the story, for the short story of Hawkeye, which I did like that one too. But I feel like the Black Widow movie, they really only made it for that scene, and I'm like, if you really made it for that scene, you could have just put that scene in the very first episode of Hawkeye at the very beginning, been like a before Endgame, or sorry, after Endgame, and then like a year later or something like that. I don't know. It was just, it's strange. It felt like Black Widow was just stuck in there. And it probably was, to be honest with you. They probably made it just for profit, which I feel like Marvel is kind of going that direction, as a lot of people I've kind of seen are leaning that way. I don't want to say it is because I love Marvel, but with how much they're putting out and stuff, I feel like they're just kind of making stuff to make stuff at this point. And I know you have to set up stuff like we don't know if Scarlet Witch is dead or not, which I don't think she is, and I think even Disney confirmed earlier this year that there will be a solo Scarlet Witch movie, which, if that happens, I'm super fucking excited for that. But like with WandaVision, they set up the Scarlet Witch character coming into her full power for the Multiverse of Madness, and then later for her solo movie. They set up not Bucky, sorry, Sam. They set up Sam becoming the new Captain America, because Steve Rogers technically retired. They haven't set up anyone becoming the new Iron Man yet, at least not that I know of. I hope if they do bring back the Iron Man character, it's not Tony Stark, it's someone else, because this might be a controversial opinion, but I'm tired of the character of Tony Stark. I'm just like the Iron Man movies are great and stuff, and Tony Stark in itself is a great like character to be Iron Man, or to have like the smarts to make stuff like that, but at the same time, you know, Tony Stark's a dick. Tony Stark is a stupid dick. So you kind of understand where that comes from. Actually, I would love to see that theory that Pepper Potts will be the new Iron Man. I'd love to see that happen. But who knows at this point if they're ever even going to bring that back. What If was amazing. What If was interesting. And What If Season 2, I think, is supposed to come out in 2024. And I'm excited to see that. Because I liked the What Ifs. Especially the What If about if Doctor Strange turned evil or something like that. Like saved his hands but not his heart or something like that. But that's also because between Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch are like my two favorite characters of all time. So I'm definitely in it to see what Marvel comes up with next. But again, Marvel it just feels like Marvel's putting shit out to put shit out, because also if you look and see what their timeline is right now, they have things planned out till like 2027, and there's so much coming in each year, and I'm like, it's great and all that you have all these ideas, but like, stop. Take a breather and put out good content, because trust me, Marvel fans will be okay with only getting like 2 or 3 things a year that are great quality. Um, as opposed to 7 or 8 mediocre things each year. Um, which I know at this point, like I said earlier, at this point I think they're just trying to establish stories. And they're trying to set up new characters to become the new Avengers, because I think now Tony's Iron Man doesn't exist anymore. Captain America is retired and a new Captain America's here. Hawkeye is iffy as if he'll come back. Scarlet Witch is iffy as if she'll come back as an Avenger. And I think the Hulk's also iffy for if he'll come back. So that's already 5 Avengers. Oh, and Black Widow's dead. So that's 6 Avengers that all like already is like up in the air. Some of them are dead. Some of them are up in the air. One of them's retired. So they're trying to set up Avengers come back. And also like we don't know how Loki is going to come back. In the capacity he is now, we don't know how he'll come back into the stories. He does. I hope he does, because Tom Hiddleston does a perfect Loki. I couldn't ask for more. But that's it about Marvel. Let's talk about games and the games of 2023. Now, there's going to be a lot more people who could tell you a lot more about the games I talk about and games that came out, because I really only started paying attention to games when I started YouTube and when I started using the setup to play games, and when I really got into gaming, because I wasn't much of a gamer until I met my partner. Now I'm getting more into it. But some of the games of 2023, well, games of 2023 / games that I played in 2023 are phenomenal. Like the Fields to Fathom games, oh my god, they are so good. I know the only Fields to Fathom games that came out this year was Iron Bulk Lookout, the 4th one. But I played all 4 this year, and they're all back. They're all on the channel, so I definitely recommend going and watching them. But if you all be warned, audio's all mixed up. But they're such good short story games, and I don't know if they say that they're real and that they were from people who actually experienced these stories and submitted them, but there's sometimes that I really think, did this really happen to this person? Because it just seems a little weird. Especially for Iron Bulk for the 4th one, Iron Bulk Lookout, for the 2nd one, which was, I forgot what it was called, but it was you're in a house and you have to stay away from a guy who's trying to get into your house. But like, some of it's just not believable, and I know they have to change the story around a little bit so that they can put those things in where it's like, oh, you can die in this scenario, but if you do it differently, you'll go free. To make the games a little challenging and stuff, which I can tell you right now, but even if you didn't watch them, I didn't finish any of the games. Because I died in all of them, and even in the 4th one, I tried to go around twice, but for some reason, I couldn't get the hiding spot open that I was supposed to hide in, and I couldn't run from the guy for some reason, so I couldn't finish the games, but they were still super fun. Another game that came out this year was Exit 8. Exit 8 is kind of and everyone's playing it right now for the channels because it just came out in December. But I also played it on my channel, but you know, it's observation style, in that you're looking for anomalies and stuff. And it's a pretty fun game. I didn't find all the anomalies. I don't even think I made it to Exit 8. I got tired of it after a while. I was like, fuck it. Another game that I played this year that came out, that also came out this year was Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I didn't play it for the channel, but Hogwarts Legacy was, I think, the most fun game I played this year. I'm already impartial to Harry Potter because I love Harry Potter. But like the game was so that's the biggest game that I've really played this year, but I thought it was phenomenal. There were a few, not really bugs, but there were a few things they could have done differently that would have made it better, but it was still a phenomenal game. Excuse me. But like, since I really only got into gaming this year, I played a lot previous years, such as the Backrooms, some Backrooms games. I played The Missing Heiko. I haven't played any Chilla's Alt games yet, but I am hoping to play some of those games eventually. Like, you can watch me go play the Backrooms, the Complex on the channel. You can go watch me play Missing Heiko. You can go watch me play games like Dream Daddy, Good Bones. Good Bones is actually a game from this year. It came out in October, or last year technically, but it came out this year in October. And that was a pretty interesting game too. It's a little less my style because as I thought that I really liked point and click games, and I still do, but I find that I like more the games that are like, yes, they have a storyline, but it's not point and click. It guides you through the storyline, like you can only go to these certain places, you can only do this, this. Like September 7th, there's a storyline to it, but it's not like you have to click. It just lets you go into only certain rooms at certain times. It's interesting, because I have right now I have a few other games planned out, but games like Spider-Man 2 was phenomenal. I haven't even played it. I only watched Jacksepticeye specifically play it, and it was outstanding. It was amazing. I've heard, Baldur's Gate 3 got Game of the Year, so it had to be good. I know a lot of people from a lot of the Spider-Man 2 community really didn't like that Baldur's Gate 3 got it, but I think that seems a little stupid because I can't judge because I haven't seen anything from Baldur's Gate 3, but from what I've heard, Baldur's Gate has much better stuff in it, but I don't know. Whatever. I only have seen Spider-Man 2, which was a phenomenal game. I freaking loved it. We also got a first look at GTA 6. Isn't coming out till 2025, but we got a first trailer for it in 2023. That game looks phenomenal. I have played GTA 5 before. Um, I don't play those games for the missions though. I really just play those games to dick around and, you know, run into things with calls and just tool around the map and stuff like that. But I'm interested in GTA 6. Um, but that's really all I know about the gaming community and the gaming world as of this year. Like I said, I never really got into gaming until maybe, well, I started getting into it last year and maybe the year before, when stuff like Life is Strange and Detroit Become Human came out. But then I lulled back down. But now that I've started a YouTube channel, I've come back into the gaming community, and it all's interesting. I saw on Steam there is a War of the Worlds game coming out, and I'm super excited for that one because I love War of the Worlds. I actually have the book, and I'm gonna read it soon. But like the movie was phenomenal, and I'm so ready for that game. And I'll probably play it for the channel, so you have that to look forward to. But I'm also gonna play things this year like Teleform, and then the Dark Pictures anthology, I think it's called. I have 2 of those games right now, and I'm gonna play those for the channel as well. I have already played all my games for January, and they're already set to upload on their respective days. But that's games like Exit 8, Backrooms, The Complex. Those are the only 2 I can remember right now. And continuing with the channel, I don't know, again, I still don't know where the podcast is going to go from here. I may try and start a solo podcast where I have guests on. And it might be a solo podcast like this, where most days it's just me talking to you guys about stuff. There's a few stories about myself that I would like to tell on this channel, because they're either interesting or they're just like, oh my god, stories. But I think we're gonna have fun on this channel in 2024. The main point is I love you guys. Thank you to the subscribers who have subscribed so far. I love the support, and I just want to make videos that people like. And if you actively watch my videos and, you know, actively like, comment, subscribe, that's great. If you just watch my videos and then click away to another video, that's great too. I don't really care. While there was a moment I was in it just for the money, I'm not in it for the money anymore. I'm just in it to make content for you guys, and also a little bit for myself, because it is an outlet, especially on days where I have nothing to do. Why not play video games and make videos out of them? So, but that wraps up 2023. 2023 was a up and down year. Here's to hoping for change. That note, I think we're gonna leave this video up to the fate of 2024. So I will see you guys again with one of these videos at the end of 2024, and hopefully it'll be better than this one, because if I'm going to be honest, I decided to do this one on a dime. I'm sorry if you think it sucks, or if it's just bad quality. But I will see you again for this type of video at the end of 2024. This has been Tyler of the Flundin Brothers channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.